Welcome to Denmark 101. Today I want to tackle a humbling revelation that I had because of homeless people here in Denmark. Now, this comes down to a matter of prejudice and bias, I think, that many of us share. When we see someone that's homeless, we assume that perhaps they're uneducated, or they just made very poor life decisions, or whatever it is. But the reality is that we don't know their story. We don't know what demons they're struggling with, or if they actually just prefer that lifestyle. And so there are people, some people like luxury lives, other people don't. For some, it's not a choice. But regardless, I don't so much want to get into that today. I want to get into the humbling fact that the average homeless person in Denmark, and they could be from a lot of different places, maybe they're Danish, maybe they're foreign, but the person on the street, the panhandler, probably, if you're watching this and you're American or Canadian or British or a native English speaker, that individual probably speaks more languages than you do. So it's very easy, I think, quite often for professionals and students and those of us that have gone a different life course, or perhaps been a little bit luckier or charted a different course, to accrue a certain level of condescension, or not even condescension perhaps, but an internal sense of superiority when we're dealing with the homeless or panhandlers. And of course, there are all sorts of issues with that, and that's something that not everybody struggles with, but I think is something that a lot of people do. But it is very, very humbling, of course, to then realize that you can go up and you can talk to your average homeless Danish person, and they probably speak fluent English, probably speak very good German as well, on top of Danish, and then maybe some other languages. And of course, it's also a very good reminder that the people that have become homeless and that are living on the streets didn't start out that way. They have lives and stories that led them there, and a lot of times that's they're very well educated, or have a lot of other things that have been formative factors within their lives. So I think that's a very cool thing. And I guess because now I'm talking about the homeless population in Denmark, there are not that many homeless people. If they're not illegal, but a legal Danish citizen or Danish guest, then they qualify for a lot of benefits, monthly stipends, things along those lines. But again, that goes back to the reality that for psychological or preferential reasons, there are people that choose to or prefer to be homeless. Not that is the case for most of them, but it is not something that you see in the same way and at the same level as in many other countries. In the U.S., the sheer amount of suffering, I think, and indignity that you see among many of the homeless population because of mental illness and lack of infrastructure, lack of support and things like that for them is truly heartbreaking. And so I think that's an area where, yes, you do have some homeless within Denmark, but the number is quite reduced. And the level of suffering and the lack of medical resources and support and things like that for them, it's a very different situation. But anyway, I always love looking at different areas where we can learn life lessons, and I think this is kind of one of them. So a little bit tricky. Hope I haven't stepped on anybody's toes or that side with it, but I hope you'll take this insight for how it's intended. Thank you for watching, and please leave a comment, preferably a friendly one on this one, but a comment on a situation that you've had where you had a similar realization, or where you've been humbled in a similar way. And always feel free to ask a question. Happy to answer. Thank you, and stay tuned.